Hello everyone, welcome to Nightmare Chronicles. I know you're watching this video to help you fall asleep. So, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, relax, lie down, and listen. In a small, isolated town nestled deep within the woods, where mist clung to the air like a specter, the old Pendleton Manor stood. It loomed over the landscape with its crumbling facade and ivy-covered walls, a relic of a forgotten era. Few dared to venture near, for rumors whispered of dark secrets that lurked within its labyrinthine halls. Our protagonist, Emily, a young journalist seeking to uncover the truth behind the town's eerie reputation, arrives one cold autumn evening. Her arrival sparks unease among the townsfolk, who regard her with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Emily is determined, driven by a personal quest to prove herself in a male-dominated field and to uncover the mysteries that shroud Pendleton Manor. As Emily delves deeper into the town's history, she encounters a cast of characters, each with their own agendas and fears. There's Thomas, the taciturn groundskeeper who harbors a deep-rooted superstition about the manor. Dr. Malcolm, the enigmatic town doctor who seems to know more than he lets on. And Sarah, a reclusive artist whose paintings eerily depict scenes from Emily's dreams. The manor itself becomes a character, its corridors shifting and echoing with unsettling whispers. Shadows dance at the corners of Emily's vision, and she begins to question her own sanity as reality blurs with nightmare. Strange occurrences escalate, objects move on their own, chilling laughter echoes through empty rooms, and Emily wakes each morning with fresh bruises she cannot explain. Her interactions with the townsfolk grow strained as paranoia grips the community. Accusations fly, trust fractures, and Emily finds herself isolated, her only ally being a stray cat that prowls the manor grounds. In her pursuit of truth, Emily discovers journals hidden in the manor's library, detailing an unspeakable crime committed decades ago. The entries speak of a ritualistic murder, of a family torn apart by greed and dark magic. As Emily pieces together the fragments of the past, she realizes she has become entangled in a web of deceit spun by forces beyond her comprehension. Desperate to escape, Amelia races through the labyrinthine corridors, pursued by unseen forces. Every corner she turns reveals more horrors. Portraits with eyes that follow her, mirrors that reflect twisted versions of reality, and staircases that lead nowhere. The mansion itself seems to toy with her, its layout shifting and changing like a living, breathing entity. Finally, cornered in the attic, Amelia confronts the true horror of Blackthorn Manor. She comes face to face with a spectral figure, Elizabeth Blackthorn herself, her pale visage twisted with rage and sorrow. The ghostly woman accuses Amelia of trespassing on her domain, warning her to leave before it's too late. But Amelia, driven by a mix of terror and empathy, confronts Elizabeth's spirit. She pleads for understanding, offering to help set her soul free from the mansion's cursed grip. In a climactic moment, the truth is revealed. Elizabeth's lover, driven by jealousy, had trapped her spirit within the manor to ensure she would never find peace. With a sudden burst of spectral energy, Elizabeth's ghost is released from its torment, dissipating into the ether. The mansion itself seems to sigh in relief, its dark presence lifting as if a weight has been lifted from its ancient foundations. As dawn breaks over the mountains, Amelia emerges from Blackthorn Manor, shaken but triumphant. She returns to the town with a newfound respect for its secrets and an understanding of the power of the unseen. The townsfolk, sensing the change in the air, greet her with cautious smiles and grateful nods. In the weeks that follow, Amelia pens an article about her experiences at Blackthorn Manor, weaving together fact and legend in a tale that captivates readers far and wide. Though some dismiss her account as fiction, others are drawn to the mystery, their imaginations ignited by the possibility that truth is often stranger than fiction. And so, Blackthorn Manor fades back into obscurity, its secrets buried once more beneath layers of time and memory. But for those who dare to listen, its whispers linger on the edge of perception, a reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed. In a small, secluded town nestled deep within mist-shrouded mountains, lies a forgotten mansion known as Blackthorn Manor. It looms ominously over the surrounding forest, its crumbling facade and overgrown gardens a testament to years of neglect. Few dare to approach it, for rumors whisper of sinister happenings within its walls, disappearances, strange lights at night, and eerie sounds that echo through the darkness. Amelia, a young journalist with a penchant for unraveling mysteries, arrives in town seeking the truth behind the legends. Drawn by tales of a hidden fortune and intrigued by the challenge of investigating the unknown, she checks into a quaint bed and breakfast nearby. The innkeeper, Mrs. Hawthorne, warns her about the manor's cursed history but offers little more than cryptic warnings. As Amelia delves deeper into the town's history, she meets a peculiar cast of characters. There's Old Man Harrison, the grizzled war veteran who claims to have seen shadows move within the manor's windows. Then there's Lily, a local artist with a penchant for painting scenes that seem to eerily mirror the manor's mysterious past. Each interaction deepens Amelia's curiosity and apprehension, yet she presses on, determined to uncover the truth. Her first visit to Blackthorn Manor is on a stormy night, rain lashing against the windows as thunder rumbles ominously overhead. Armed with only a flashlight and her courage, Amelia steps through the creaking front door into a labyrinth of forgotten rooms. The air is thick with dust and decay, and the walls seem to whisper secrets that she strains to understand. As she explores, the mansion seems to come alive around her. Shadows dance in her peripheral vision, and strange drafts of cold air send shivers down her spine. Amelia's nerves fray with every step deeper into the heart of the manor, yet she persists, driven by a mix of fear and determination to uncover the truth. In the depths of the manor, Amelia discovers a hidden library, its shelves lined with ancient tomes and yellowed manuscripts. Among them, she finds a diary belonging to Elizabeth Blackthorn, the mansion's original owner. The diary tells a tale of obsession and tragedy, of a forbidden love affair that ended in betrayal and death. Amelia becomes absorbed in Elizabeth's story, her own emotions mirroring those of the long-deceased woman. But as night wears on, the manor's malevolent presence grows stronger. Whispers turn into chilling screams that reverberate through the halls. Amelia's flashlight flickers ominously, casting eerie shadows that seem to reach out for her. Panic grips her heart as she realizes she is not alone in the mansion. Driven by a newfound resolve, Emma and Ethan raced against time to confront the malevolent presence that lurked within the woods. With each step, the forest seemed to grow denser, the trees twisting into grotesque shapes that mirrored their escalating fear. Finally, they reached the heart of the forest, where an ancient oak stood sentinel over a clearing bathed in moonlight. Shadows coalesced into a spectral form, its eyes gleaming with malevolence as it whispered secrets long forgotten. Emma's breath caught in her throat as she realized the true extent of the darkness that had haunted her family for generations. In a desperate bid for redemption, Ethan confronted the spectral presence, offering himself as a sacrifice to appease the vengeful spirits. The forest echoed with his screams, a chilling lament that mingled with the wind as darkness closed in around them. As dawn broke over the horizon, Emma emerged from the forest alone, her eyes haunted by the horrors she had witnessed. The town remained shrouded in silence, oblivious to the darkness that lingered just beyond its borders. With a heavy heart, Emma realized that some secrets were meant to remain buried, their truths too terrible to confront. And so, the legend of the haunted woods lived on, whispered among the townsfolk as a cautionary tale of the darkness that lurked within the shadows. Emma carried the weight of her experiences like a scar upon her soul, forever changed by the horrors she had faced and the sacrifices made in the name of a truth she could never fully comprehend. In a small, secluded town nestled deep within a dense forest, the air hung heavy with mystery and a chilling sense of unease. The townsfolk whispered of an old legend, one that spoke of a darkness lurking in the heart of the woods, waiting to consume the unwary souls who dared to venture too close. Amidst this eerie backdrop lived Emma, a young woman scarred by a tragic past, seeking solace in the quiet solitude of her ancestral home. She was drawn to the ancient forests that surrounded the town, finding a strange comfort in their dense canopy and the whispered secrets that seemed to echo among the trees. One fog-laden evening, as dusk settled over the town, Emma ventured deeper into the woods than she ever had before. A chill wind whispered through the leaves, sending shivers down her spine. Shadows danced ominously, and every rustle of the underbrush seemed to echo like distant footsteps. Lost in thought, Emma stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin hidden amidst the trees. Its windows were broken, and the door creaked open eerily as if inviting her inside. Curiosity mingled with apprehension as she cautiously stepped over the threshold. Inside, the air was thick with dust and a musty, ancient scent. As Emma explored the cabin, she discovered old photographs scattered across a rotting wooden table. Faces stared back at her, frozen in time, their eyes seeming to follow her every move. Among them was a faded portrait of a young girl, hauntingly familiar yet unrecognizable. A sudden noise from outside snapped Emma from her reverie. Heart pounding, she hurried back towards the door, only to find it inexplicably closed. Panic gripped her as she struggled with the latch, but it refused to budge. Shadows lengthened, and the silence of the forest was oppressive, broken only by her frantic breaths. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm her, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was Ethan, a reclusive artist rumored to commune with spirits of the past. His presence offered a glimmer of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Together, Emma and Ethan unraveled the cabin's mysteries, discovering a sinister truth buried within its decaying walls. Each clue led them deeper into a web of deceit and malevolence that seemed to span generations. Whispers of a curse began to surface, linking Emma's own family history to the dark forces that haunted the woods. As their investigation progressed, tensions simmered between Emma and Ethan, their once tentative alliance tested by fear and suspicion. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, and they found themselves questioning not only the horrors lurking in the shadows but also their own sanity. In a climactic twist, Emma uncovered a journal hidden beneath the floorboards, its pages filled with the desperate scribblings of a tormented soul. The journal spoke of a ritual gone awry, of sacrifices made in the name of power, and of a darkness unleashed that threatened to consume everything in its path. In a heart-wrenching twist, Sarah realized that her quest for solitude had been guided by Eleanor's desperate plea for closure. As dawn broke over Blackwood, Sarah made her choice to embrace Eleanor's legacy and become the voice that would finally set her free. Sarah Mitchell's journey into Blackwood Manor had begun as a quest for solitude but ended in a haunting tale of love, loss, and the timeless echoes of a past that refused to be forgotten. As Sarah walked away from the manor, its walls whispered tales of redemption, a testament to the enduring power of love and the boundless depths of human emotion. In a forgotten corner of a sleepy town, nestled amidst dense woods shrouded in perpetual mist, lay an old mansion that whispered secrets of forgotten crimes. Its crumbling facade bore witness to decades of neglect and untold horrors, casting a foreboding shadow over the surrounding landscape. This mansion, once a grand estate, now stood as a relic of dark history, its walls echoing with the silent screams of the past. The story begins with Emily, a young journalist seeking to uncover the truth behind a series of unsolved disappearances linked to the mansion. Drawn by whispers of ghostly apparitions and inexplicable phenomena, Emily arrives with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. Her resolve is tested from the moment she steps foot into the mansion's decaying foyer, where the air is heavy with the scent of mildew and the floorboards creak underfoot as if reluctant to bear her weight. As Emily delves deeper into the mansion's dark corridors, she encounters a cast of characters whose lives have been intertwined with its sinister history. There's Mr. Blackwood, the enigmatic caretaker with a haunted gaze and a reluctance to speak of the mansion's past. His presence unnerves Emily, yet she senses a desperate plea for redemption hidden beneath his gruff exterior. Then there's Sarah, a local historian whose obsession with the mansion borders on the fanatical. Her meticulous research uncovers long-buried police reports and newspaper clippings, each hinting at a different facet of the mansion's grim legacy. Sarah's enthusiasm is infectious, but Emily senses a darkness in her obsession that mirrors the mansion's own malevolent presence. As Emily explores further, the mansion seems to come alive, its walls shifting subtly with every passing hour. Shadows dance in the corners of her vision, and whispers echo through empty halls, taunting her with fragments of forgotten secrets. Her skepticism wanes as she witnesses inexplicable phenomena, objects moving on their own, cold gusts of wind that carry the scent of decay, and fleeting glimpses of figures that vanish as quickly as they appear. Fear grips Emily's heart, but it's the growing uncertainty about what is real and what is illusion that truly terrifies her. She begins to question her own sanity as dreams blur with waking nightmares, and the line between past and present blurs into a maddening haze. Part 4. The Twist of Fate. One stormy night, as Sarah delved deeper into the manor's history, she stumbled upon a hidden passage leading to a chamber untouched by time. There, amidst cobweb-covered relics, she uncovered a portrait, a woman bearing an uncanny resemblance to herself, eyes filled with a sorrow that transcended the canvas. As Sarah reached out to touch the painting, a cold gust swept through the chamber, extinguishing her lantern. In the darkness, whispers surrounded her, mingling with the sound of approaching footsteps. Fear paralyzed her as the air grew heavy with a presence she could not see but felt with chilling clarity. Part 5. Revelation. The final pages of the diary revealed the truth. Sarah was not an intruder but a descendant of the manor's tragic past. The woman in the painting, Eleanor Blackwood, had loved and lost in those very halls, her spirit bound to the manor by a love that defied death. Sarah's arrival had awakened Eleanor's longing, merging their fates in a dance of despair and longing. The haunting of Blackwood Manor. In the quiet town of Blackwood, nestled deep within mist-shrouded woods, stood a mansion that cast a long, eerie shadow over its surroundings. Blackwood Manor, with its weathered stone facade and looming turrets, had long been abandoned, its history steeped in whispers of tragedy and mystery. Part 1. The Arrival. As the autumn leaves fell in cascades around the town, Sarah Mitchell arrived in Blackwood. A writer seeking solitude to finish her latest novel, she found the town oddly welcoming despite its unsettling reputation. She rented a small cottage on the outskirts, within view of the imposing silhouette of Blackwood Manor. Sarah's first encounter with the locals was at the quaint diner on Main Street. There, she met Jack, the grizzled old bartender with a penchant for ghost stories, and Lisa, the soft-spoken waitress who seemed perpetually nervous. Their warnings about the manor were cryptic, filled with half-truths that only fueled Sarah's curiosity. Part 2. The Unsettling Presence. Nights in Blackwood were different. Sarah felt it from the moment darkness descended. Shadows seemed to move independently, and the air held a chill that cut through her despite the crackling fire in her cottage. She would often wake to the sound of distant whispers, fleeting glimpses of figures standing in the mist beyond her window. Her visits to town grew infrequent as she delved deeper into her writing, drawn to the manor's eerie allure. Each day brought new discoveries, an old diary hinting at a forbidden love, faded photographs capturing moments of joy amidst sorrow. Yet, with each step closer to unraveling its secrets, Sarah felt an unseen presence closing in. Part 3. The Growing Fear. Sarah's nights became sleepless, haunted by vivid dreams of a woman in a flowing gown wandering the manor's corridors, her face obscured yet filled with anguish. Jack's warnings echoed in her mind, urging her to leave before it was too late. But curiosity had long supplanted caution, and Sarah pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. In her solitude, Sarah began to notice changes in herself. A creeping paranoia gripped her, amplified by the manor's oppressive atmosphere. She questioned every sound, every shadow that danced at the edge of her vision. Even her reflection seemed distorted in the antique mirrors she found hidden in forgotten rooms. One fog-shrouded evening, Amelia stumbled upon an old journal hidden in the library archives. Its yellowed pages detailed a ritual conducted by the town's founders centuries ago, a pact with dark forces to ensure prosperity at a terrible cost. As she pieced together the fragments of history, Amelia realized that Ravenwood's tranquility was a facade, a thin veneer masking a malevolent presence that fed on the town's inhabitants. Her quest for truth soon turned into a desperate fight for survival as the malevolent force, awakened by her probing, set its sights on her. The once welcoming woods twisted into a labyrinth of terror, where reality and nightmare intertwined. Each night brought new horrors, spectral apparitions haunting her dreams, voices urging her to leave before it was too late. Amelia's relationships with the townspeople grew strained as paranoia and fear gripped Ravenwood. Trust dissolved into suspicion, and even her closest allies seemed to harbor secrets of their own. Driven by a relentless need to uncover the truth, Amelia confronted Mr. Crow, who finally revealed himself as the guardian of Ravenwood's dark secret, a sacrifice needed to appease the malevolent entity that had plagued the town for generations. In a climactic showdown, Amelia discovered the true nature of the malevolent force, an ancient entity that thrived on fear and despair, manipulating reality to ensnare its victims. With Evelyn's help, she unearthed the ritual's hidden purpose, to bind the entity to Ravenwood, ensuring its survival at the cost of countless lives. But just as victory seemed within reach, a shocking twist unfolded. Amelia realized that she herself was the unwitting catalyst for the entity's resurgence, drawn to Ravenwood by forces beyond her understanding. In a heart-wrenching realization, she understood that her presence had unwittingly fulfilled the ritual's conditions, sealing the town's fate. As dawn broke over Ravenwood, the once tranquil town lay shrouded in an eerie silence. Amelia, burdened by guilt and despair, left with her photographs, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath Ravenwood's serene facade. The woods whispered secrets of forgotten times, a testament to the price paid for uncovering the truth in a town where reality and nightmare were one. In the dense, ancient forests of northern Maine, where the trees whispered secrets of forgotten times, lay the sleepy town of Ravenwood. Nestled amidst mist-shrouded hills and shadowed by tall pines, Ravenwood wore an air of tranquility that masked its dark undercurrents. Amelia Reed, a young photojournalist seeking inspiration for her next project, arrived in Ravenwood with hopeful anticipation. Her journey into the heart of this isolated town was prompted by tales of unexplained disappearances and eerie sightings that seemed to plague its history. Despite warnings from locals about the strange occurrences, Amelia's curiosity drove her deeper into the mystery. She found lodging at the Ravenwood Inn, a charming yet decrepit Victorian mansion with creaking floorboards and flickering gas lamps. The innkeeper, Mr. Crow, a grizzled man with piercing eyes, greeted her with a grim smile. His taciturn demeanor and cryptic warnings about the woods only fueled Amelia's determination to uncover the truth. During her exploration of Ravenwood, Amelia encountered several intriguing characters who each seemed burdened by their own secrets. Evelyn Montgomery, the enigmatic librarian with an unsettling knowledge of Ravenwood's dark past. Dr. Thomas Blackwood, the reclusive physician who treated patients with unconventional methods. Lucas Harper, a brooding artist whose paintings seemed to reflect a deeper, more sinister reality. As Amelia delved deeper into her investigation, she began to experience inexplicable phenomena. Shadows moved where there should have been none, whispers echoed through empty corridors, and she caught fleeting glimpses of figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. Each encounter left her increasingly unnerved, her camera capturing blurred images that hinted at something lurking just beyond sight. To close in around her, the very wood groaning with malice. In a desperate bid for escape, she turned to flee, only to find herself face to face with Thomas Blackwood. His eyes, once warm and welcoming, now glinted with a cold, unearthly light. "You were never meant to leave, Amelia," he whispered, voice laced with ancient sorrow. "None of us were." The truth shattered her fragile reality. Thomas, Sarah, Caleb, all were mere shades, trapped in an endless cycle of torment by the Wraith's curse. Allabrook existed not as a refuge, but as a prison for lost souls, bound by sorrow and the town's dark legacy. As the cabin walls closed in, Amelia's fear gave way to a grim acceptance. The Wraith had chosen her as its next vessel, a conduit for its eternal hunger. And as the darkness consumed her, Hollowbrook echoed with the screams of the damned, a chorus of voices lost to time. In the end, the town of Hollowbrook remained unchanged, its secrets buried beneath layers of forgotten memories. And as the sun rose over the desolate landscape, casting long shadows upon the forest floor, the curse of Hollowbrook lived on, waiting patiently for its next victim to wander into the embrace of darkness. And then, in a twist that shattered all semblance of truth, Holloway discovered the chilling reality. He himself was a pawn in the cult's game, chosen long ago to be the unwitting harbinger of chaos. The murders, the symbols, even Emily's presence, all orchestrated to fulfill an ancient prophecy written in blood and whispered in shadows. As dawn broke over Crestwood, Holloway stood amidst the ruins of his beliefs, a broken man haunted by the knowledge that the line between hero and villain was thinner than he had ever dared to imagine. The city, indifferent to the horrors that had unfolded, stirred awake as if nothing had changed, leaving Holloway to grapple with the aftermath of a truth that had shattered his world forever. In the end, the streets of Crestwood whispered their secrets to those who dared to listen, a cautionary tale of darkness lurking beneath the veneer of civilization, a tale that would haunt Holloway's dreams for years to come. In a forgotten corner of the sprawling metropolis, nestled between towering skyscrapers and abandoned warehouses, lay the desolate neighborhood of Crestwood. Once a bustling hub of industry, it now stood as a grim reminder of urban decay. Streets were littered with broken glass and discarded dreams, and shadows seemed to dance menacingly in the flickering streetlights. Amidst this bleak backdrop lived Detective Jack Holloway, a seasoned investigator whose weary eyes had seen too much of the city's underbelly. He had chosen to live in Crestwood, finding solace in its forgotten alleys and neglected corners, away from the polished facade of the city center. Holloway's reputation preceded him. Tales of his relentless pursuit of justice echoed through the precinct halls, but behind closed doors, whispers of a darkness that clung to him like a second skin lingered. One unusually cold autumn evening, Holloway received a call that would plunge him into a nightmare he couldn't have imagined. A series of grisly murders had begun to plague Crestwood, each victim found with strange symbols carved into their flesh. The symbols were unfamiliar, ancient in their design, sending a chill down Holloway's spine that even the biting wind couldn't match. As Holloway delved deeper into the case, he found himself drawn to a dilapidated apartment building at the edge of Crestwood. Its faded facade bore silent witness to years of neglect, windows boarded up like eyes shut tight against the horrors within. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of decay and old memories, each creak of the floorboards echoing like a mournful sigh. Among the tenants was Emily White, a young woman with haunted eyes and a quiet demeanor that belied a deep-seated fear. She spoke of shadows that moved of their own accord, whispering secrets that chilled the marrow in her bones. Holloway, initially skeptical, found himself captivated by her raw fear and the unsettling familiarity of her stories. As the nights grew longer, the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred. Holloway's investigation unearthed a dark undercurrent in Crestwood, a cult that worshipped an ancient deity said to grant unimaginable power at a terrifying cost. The murders were part of a ritual, each victim chosen for their innocence, their blood a tribute to awaken the slumbering god. In his pursuit of the truth, Holloway's own sanity began to fray. Shadows stalked his every step, whispering temptations and doubts that threatened to consume him. Emily, despite her own fears, became his anchor in the storm, her presence a fragile thread of humanity in a world teetering on the brink of madness. In a climactic showdown within the bowels of the abandoned building, Holloway confronted the cult's leader, a figure shrouded in darkness and driven by an insatiable thirst for power. The air crackled with tension as ancient forces collided, reality bending and warping around them like a fever dream. Yellowed with age, the entry spoke of a family torn apart by tragedy, their grief seeping into the very walls of the house. Muhammad's heart ached as he read of a mother's anguish, a father's desperation, and a child's innocence lost to the shadows that lurked in every corner. Night after night, Muhammad delved deeper into the mysteries of the old house, driven by a need to uncover the truth behind its haunting. Yet, with each revelation, the house seemed to grow darker, its presence weighing heavy on his weary soul. One stormy evening, as thunder echoed in the distance, Muhammad made a startling discovery in the attic, a hidden room obscured by layers of dust and cobwebs. Inside, he found a collection of photographs, each depicting faces frozen in terror. Among them was a familiar face, a young woman whose resemblance to someone he once knew stirred memories long buried. As he studied the photographs, a cold realization washed over him. The house was not merely a repository of lost souls, it was a reflection of his own grief and guilt, manifesting in spectral form to confront him with the painful truth he had tried to forget. In a final desperate act of catharsis, Muhammad confronted the lingering presence that haunted the old house. With tears in his eyes, he whispered a farewell to the ghosts of the past, releasing them from their eternal torment. As dawn broke over the horizon, Muhammad emerged from the old house, his heart heavy yet strangely liberated. The once imposing structure now stood silent and still, its mysteries laid bare to the light of day. With each step away from its crumbling walls, Muhammad felt a weight lift from his shoulders, leaving behind the shadows that had once threatened to consume him. The old house remained a silent sentinel, its secrets buried beneath layers of time and memory. For Muhammad, however, it would forever serve as a reminder of the fragile boundary between reality and illusion, and the enduring power of the human spirit to confront its darkest fears. In the heart of a small, forgotten town nestled among the whispering pines, stood an old house. Its time-worn facade bore witness to decades of neglect, its windows like empty eyes peering out into the dimming twilight. Few dared to venture near, for rumors whispered of its haunted halls and the restless spirits that roamed within. Muhammad, a reserved librarian seeking solitude after a recent personal loss, found himself drawn to this eerie relic. His grief weighed heavy, tainting his every thought with a sorrow that seemed to echo the desolation of the old house. On a crisp autumn evening, driven by a mix of curiosity and a need to escape his own thoughts, he approached the decaying gate, its rusted hinges groaning in protest. The house loomed before him, a labyrinth of shadows and secrets. Inside, time seemed to stand still. The air was thick with dust and the faint scent of decay, mingling with a mustiness that clung to the ancient wallpaper like a shroud. Muhammad's footsteps echoed ominously on the creaking floorboards as he ventured deeper, his heart pounding in rhythm with the eerie silence. As he explored, he stumbled upon remnants of lives once lived, faded photographs, broken furniture, and cryptic symbols etched into the walls. Each room told a silent tale of its former inhabitants, leaving Muhammad to piece together fragments of their stories in the dim light of his flashlight. Yet, it was not the relics of the past that unsettled him the most. It was the subtle shifts in the house itself, doors that closed on their own, whispers that seemed to echo from nowhere, and fleeting glimpses of figures vanishing around corners. Muhammad's rational mind fought to dismiss these occurrences as mere tricks of the mind, yet a primal instinct warned him otherwise. In the solitude of the old house, Muhammad found himself haunted not only by its spectral inhabitants but by memories he had long sought to bury. The boundaries between past and present blurred, each echoing the other in a chilling symphony of loss and longing. One night, as he sat in the dim glow of a flickering candle, Muhammad heard footsteps echoing down the hallway. His pulse quickened as he followed the sound, his flashlight casting long shadows that danced like specters on the walls. The footsteps led him to a locked door, its ancient wood weathered and cracked. Driven by a mixture of dread and curiosity, Muhammad searched for a key, eventually finding it hidden beneath a loose floorboard. With trembling hands, he unlocked the door and stepped into a room frozen in time. Sunlight filtered through tattered curtains, illuminating a scene untouched by the passage of years. A child's room, adorned with toys scattered across the floor. As he explored further, Muhammad discovered a journal hidden beneath the bed, its pages,